Hey everyone, welcome back to the Keeper Chronicles podcast recap show. This is actually going to be the first of probably 3 times I'm going to introduce and welcome you guys back to the show because we have a full show today. I have 4 different guests lined up that you'll see throughout the episode. I hope you guys enjoy. It was a very packed episode. It's extra long, extra content after maybe a little lackluster Jacob reading off the PowerPoint last time. So hope you guys enjoy. Welcome back to the Keeper Chronicles. Here's your next episode, and as promised, this one is going to be a lot better than just me reading off the PowerPoint. And in fact, I have a guest here. Here we have...
I'm Saranj.
Fun fact, Saranj is our 9th member of the league. He just doesn't get a team.
I don't get a team. I do get an opinion, though.
So Saranj, on this podcast, we like to just kind of talk about just a broad, general NFL topic, usually to start. And so before Luke left, he was trying to make this case, I believe Mark may have been making this case with him, that... we've felt that kicking is up in the NFL. Like there's been a lot more field goals, a lot more kicking in general.
Yeah.
Luke believes, and like I said, Mark, you may be looped into this. Luke and Mark believe that this is due to the touchback being moved up 5 yards. Luke's argument was it takes essentially 1 first down with a bigger play and you're in field goal range. And I said, I didn't agree with that, but I'd love to hear your opinion.
Okay, there's a lot of levels to this,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Because teams that are kicking more have a kicker that can boot it 60 yards.
And that was my thought exactly.
For example, you take the Texans, you have Fairbairn. The guy, he has kicked more field goals between 45 and 50 yards than in between. And that's because defenses are better this year all around the league. Even bad teams can somehow get good defensive games.
Yes.
And so Fairbairn, he kicks 55 yards. That's not because of the touchback rule. That's just because the guy's got a leg. How many kickers do you see kicking 50 yards?
Well, and that was almost spot on my argument against Luke. And my thought was, yeah, I think it takes more than I first said. It takes more than just like 1 first down. You have to get roughly a little further than the 50, right?
Yeah.
You need to get into the opponent territory. But you go and look, and again, this was while Luke was still in the States, and I was like, I think they're making 50-plus yard field goals, and my estimate was about 80%. If you go back 10 years ago, 50-plus was closer to like 50-50. So just we've changed the calculus of kicking 50-yard field goals.
Exactly.
They're more of a given now than they were 10 years ago. So because these kickers, like you said, are able to make these kicks, like for example, Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
That guy, there's been rumors he can hit from 70.
Yeah, exactly. You look at it right now, Justin Tucker right now is the worst kicker from 50-plus yards.
Yes.
Out of all, if you look at number of attempts, he's the one who's the worst, and that's Justin Tucker.
Yes. It's just this new wave of kickers all have this accurate deep leg.
Yeah.
And I did end up looking up the stat, and it was kickers are making 80% of 50-plus yard field goals.
Young
right
Hoku
or 78, sorry.
He literally has won them 2 games just because he's got a leg. Coaches aren't afraid to roll out their kicker 50 yards because they know he can make it.
Yes. And I mean, possible future discussion topic is how do you change this, or are we okay with this? But we'll just kind of leave that dangling for a future podcast episode. This is Saranj. You'll see him in a later bit too. But yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast. We have here possibly the loudest talker in the whole league, Sam Ambrose here. Welcome to the podcast, Sam.
Thank you. Romnus revived on a 3-game win streak. Good to be here.
You were a dead man walking after 3 weeks, and now you're back to 500. How does it feel?
Here's the thing. I've played against the best, and I've beat one of the best now. And I teased the idea of distancing myself from the Romnus name. But you know what? I gave him one more shot. We're Romnus revived now, and since then we've been 3-0. So you know what? Say it's super. I'm not superstitious. I am a little stitious though,
Yeah.
and this is we're on the up and up, is what I'm saying.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Mhm.
there's something to be said about the name change. You look at the idiot who is 2-0 since becoming the idiot. I feel like there is something to be said that just gives it a different kind of energy. It's like firing your coach.
Same with the Puka Power,
And
who's now
they,
rebrand
I
revenge.
mean, they lost this week to the idiot, but
No,
yeah.
but they've been putting up much better numbers.
Oh, much better, much more of what we're used to out of David for sure.
Exactly.
So Sam, a couple questions for you. I just want to gauge your thoughts on this league in general. Like, what are your thoughts on the league in general? Like, do you love it? Like, what do you take away from this league, or what do you look forward to in this league?
Basically, I've been in for 3 years running now. I've been in other leagues during the same time, and I am almost always the Benton zombie of those leagues. I pay no attention to some of those teams, and everyone in the league hates it. But it's because this league just means it takes up so much more of my RAM, my brain space that I just can't focus on. And quite frankly, I don't care.
I lost you there. You don't care?
I don't care about other leagues. Quite frankly, I don't. Nothing is as competitive as this one.
Yeah,
Nothing has, the mix of both Boompa and the Miltimore twins.
yeah,
Like there's just nothing like this league.
for sure. Um, so if you were commish for a day or a season or whatever we'd want to call it, is there any changes you would make to the league to make it better, or more interesting, or do you feel like this league is perfect? I feel like the people make it perfect no matter what, but
I will. I will. I will say that slight dig towards Benton was the Benton of the past. No
oh,
longer current Benton.
for sure, for sure.
Um, the only thing I would really change is I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's time to do a fresh reset with the keepers. Maybe we do a draft where everyone resets.
Do
I
you feel like there should be a limit on number of years you can have a keeper? Maybe is that what you're kind of
No,
going
because
with?
I don't think that's how like fantasy is. I don't think like that's really typically how fantasy goes. Like maybe for CMC like 2 years in a row, but like I don't think that anyone's really been that amazing for many consecutive seasons. Maybe Tyreek for two or three.
So, in other leagues, for example, Benton does an auction draft, and they
Yeah,
increase the cost by $5, whatever you paid the previous year by $5. In Snake, like round by round drafts, I've heard of whatever round you took your keeper in is the round that keeper fills. So if Ross were to keep Marvin Harrison Jr., that's his first round pick next year. Versus if you keep your kicker, that's your round 15 pick.
hmm.
So it's just adding a layer of intrigue to the keeper. But you in general just feel like we need a full reset.
Well, I'm not saying that that's what we need. I think it would definitely make things really interesting
Okay.
because the people who have really benefited from generational wealth, um, you don't have it so cushy anymore. You don't have your guys. Not that your guys have really paid off for you this year, but like, um, it did last year.
I, for
So,
for sure, for sure. I
so
mean, in general,
yeah,
it's about identifying those future keepers, though. I mean, but
yeah,
not like my
I
keepers were
agree.
great.
And
So
like, I like the keepers. I will
yeah,
be honest. I like it. I just think it would be really kind of crazy to shake things up and like reset.
I think I disagree with a full reset. I think we could add parameters to the keepers. but I disagree with a full reset. But it's an interesting
Every year, just one.
Yeah, I still disagree. Marvin Harrison Jr. Ross just got him. Like we shouldn't say, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah. Wow. I have like Bobby head.
Yeah,
Look so bad.
you look
Maybe I should just.
like something.
Okay. I'll
Um,
just.
all right.
Um. Yeah. So I think. Yeah. You know what? Sure. I guess. But like rookies, how often are they that good though? You know.
Right at if you ask me who my keepers are right now, Malik Neighbors is up there.
Sure.
Benton's probably thinking Jaden Daniels too.
No, he wouldn't. Maybe. I don't know.
It's but yeah. Um, all right, let's kind of recap the week that was.
Hmm.
So we're gonna start off with my game, all boom no bust versus trust and repeat. And
Oh,
boy,
you know what?
Ross had a great game. Let's give
Let's
Ross
start there.
it
Yeah.
140 some points. You should win every one of those games, and rightfully he did.
Yep.
My team, I just feel like does not have the boom that all boom does. I just feel like I'm always slightly below projected or right on projected.
Yeah. I also feel like you have a fair amount of unlucky.
I feel yes. I often have decision paralysis where it's like,
Hmm.
who do I start? This week it was, do I start Tank Dell or not? And sure enough, I made the wrong decision. It wasn't that bad, but like, there's usually at least one guy on my bench that scores more than someone he could have started over. You're correct.
Uh-huh.
I do.
Like,
It's just it's a testament to how good I feel like my team is. It just between my decision paralysis and also I don't feel like it has the boom potential some other teams do. Um, I mean, that's why I'm on a 2-game losing streak.
I think you also traded away Garrett Wilson too, didn't you?
I
And
did, and I don't regret that still. He was a thorn in my side. I wish nothing but the best for him until, except for this week, I wish nothing but the worst. Um, it'll be interesting to see what he does post Devonte Adams trade.
I know, right?
So I we'll see. I obviously Devonte Adams is going to take some targets away. People on the internet are speculating it's going to be more of like a Evans Godwin relationship in terms of targets in New York. I personally think that Wilson gives up more of his targets and Alan Lazard retains all of his targets. It's just
I
Aaron
was gonna
Rodgers.
say Alan Lazard's wide receiver 11 right now. So like I feel like why are we sleeping on him? He's been like wide receiver 1 in New York.
Yeah, I think in general it probably hurts Garrett Wilson. I don't think it demotes him to don't start necessarily, but I think you're going to get closer to the 12-point games he was giving
I
me.
would say yeah,
30
10,
points he's
10
been
to
giving
12
me.
point games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just like I said, don't feel like I'm doing as well as I could with the team I have. Um, next game
I was
we
looking at Ross's points for. I mean, he's at 840. I'm at 650.
so
He's
interesting you bring that up. Interesting you bring that up. Did you know if Benton's opponents every week were a team, they would be the top scoring team in our league? That Benton has more points against than Ross has
Oh
points for.
gosh, he's 852 points against Benton. That's
And
so sad.
it just goes to show poor Benton.
Yeah. And you know who has the fewest points against them? TNP or TNR.
Yeah. Yep, I'm aware. There was a couple those early weeks where I was facing you, the Wiz,
Yeah.
the bad Puka Power before he
I
rebranded.
think I think that was like my 54-point week or something
Yeah,
like
there were some
that.
bad weeks there.
I'm part of the problem.
We'll move on to our next game. We have the Idiot versus Rebrand Revenge. Two
Yeah.
rebranded teams. And as I said earlier, the Idiot is 2-0 since his name change. I
No.
don't know. Now, do we want to credit the name change or he's 2-0 since he left for Egypt? I'm not
Oh,
I'm not saying there's any funny business going over in Egypt, but maybe, just maybe, some fantasy football pharaoh took over his body and is now he's 2-0.
I think what it really is um didn't he used to start a different quarterback? It wasn't Baker. Who'd he start?
He started with Joe Burrow on week 1 where he got like
Where he has this slow
Dak
start.
level points. Yep. Then he did Baker, and that was a bad week for Baker. And then he did
Yeah.
Derek Carr, and it was a bad week for Derek Carr.
Yep. Yeah.
And now finally he's just keeping with
Back
Baker.
on.
He's committed. He's in a committed relationship with Baker, and he's doing much better. He's
And it's a good one too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's so solid.
I mean, he threw 3 picks and still scored 25 points this week.
I'm looking at like his players and scoring 150 points when your flex and one of your receivers only make up 12, 13 points, that's crazy.
Luke,
Um,
he's a name you got to watch out for, I think.
I still don't think so. And I'm not worried about him in the slightest.
Okay.
But yeah, beating Rebrand Revenge on his Rebrand Revenge tour, that's kind of a big deal. He's been scoring 120s to 140s, so he's a force.
David's no joke right now, for sure. Do want to point out that technically this was an unlucky loss for David here. He was the 4th highest scorer of the week and still took a loss. Sorry.
That is unlucky. Yeah.
So next game we have the Frame Train versus the Wiz, and I almost feel like we need to take a moment of silence for Benton here. Like,
I feel so bad for him.
Every single week, I don't know if he's finished a game where if he's finished a week where every player he's started has finished the game. Like,
so bad.
It's also oftentimes like early in the game too. Like, it's not like fourth quarter, he's already gotten 13 points. It's like he has 3 or less points and this guy's out for game, and poor Benton.
So sad too that like even the defense he picks had
-2. Like,
2
Seattle's supposed to be a good defense, and they just didn't show up for him.
They didn't show up. It's just sad. It really is sad. I feel bad for him, and of course the Wiz just pops off too.
The Wiz, I was telling Benton earlier, I'm like, the Wiz is weak this week, is like kind of a bad matchup for himself this week, just with all these bye players and all this, and he goes off.
Mm-hmm. The Wiz, the Wiz picked up Bucky Irving, I think, early on in the season.
No.
And it's really become a point of contention for me internally because I have Rachaad White. He was my 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
And I'm about to drop him. I mean, seriously, he is accumulated.
Rachaad White is averaging roughly 2.9 yards a carry.
It is so bad. I'm wondering how I can not start one of my keepers, drop 3 of my first 4 picks or something like that. I mean, at this point, the best person I drafted was George Kittle.
Oh, for sure. For sure, George Kittle
was once a keeper for the Wiz.
George Kittle might be your biggest positional advantage you have, because he is one of the few tight ends that scores points consistently.
I would agree. I don't know how. Somehow he always comes out with like a touchdown, but
yeah,
it's always so sketchy because throughout the game he'll have like 1 catch a quarter, but sometimes it'll be for like 30 yards. So I'm lucky.
I don't want to gloss over the point that I've been saying since week 1 that the Wiz is for real, and I just feel like we really do need to look at the Wiz as a real game. He is not a bye week, as some of his sons have called him.
Emotional bye week.
Emotional bye week. Okay, sorry. Yes. No, the Wiz is a real team, and I do think you need to take him seriously when you face him.
Yeah, and I think there definitely is part of he has like that underdog component. He's always going to be the underdog because you don't always take him seriously,
But he's sneaky. I could be wrong, but I believe He might be in the playoffs. If the league ended today, he may be in the playoffs. He might be a top
No.
4 team. No
No, because it's by
record and then points for.
wait, isn't it by division?
No, it might be top in each division win, but then
The
it's by
top
record. And so I believe
the
it's
top two in each
no,
division.
no.
Oh, okay. In which case, yeah, he's tied with Rebrand Revenge.
But he has more points than David. So technically, he is the number 4
No, he
seed.
doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I was wrong. Okay.
No.
Um, well, let's move on to what I believe was possibly the fantasy football game of the century.
Unbelievable.
Contendas versus Romnus Revived. And obviously
Unbelievable.
there was some chatter in the group chat. I don't think you realize, Sam, how lucky you are that he picked it off.
I
Not
know.
not only did that put you over, there were so many scenarios where I looked, I was checking your scoring. The Jets at that point in time had 393 yards of offense. If they hit 400, you get another negative point. So if Aaron Rodgers checks the ball down and they face fourth and whatever, even if they get the interception on that next play, you don't win.
I did not realize that. I was also worried about like a sack because he had that .02.
Yes, the
And
sack wouldn't have put you over. You needed 2 points. You needed a turnover of some sort. And you
I didn't know that part about the yardage. I didn't know
yeah,
it was that close too.
it
I
was
was like 7 yards.
yeah.
That's wild. But my favorite part about all of that is, there's the banter in the group chat. Mark must have read that and interpreted it as Boompa winning. And so Boompa gets that text from Mark this morning. Checks the score just to make I had to go back and check to make sure there wasn't a regrading or like a re
Oh, for sure.
like and but yeah, Mark saying that I lost this morning was just another kick in the crotch to Boompa. And then, oh gosh, I could just hear Boompa's voice after they got the interception. And I said, oh my goodness, what a hose job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and the fact that he started Dak this week over
Over Josh Allen.
over Josh Allen, who just balled out.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I
my
let's see. On the ESPN recap, they talked about like who are the best players on the bench. And Boompa had 2 of the top 3, I believe.
Boompa had
He had, let's see, here we go. He had Joe Mixon on the bench, Josh
yep.
Allen on the bench. Those 2 combined for 50 points.
So I take it he wins best bench.
Yeah, let's go into Luke's weekly awards.
Yeah.
We'll change it up. We'll start with best bench and oh yeah, oh, it's Boompa. Yeah, Boompa, way to go. You won best bench. Way to go, leaving Josh Allen and Joe Mixon on the bench. We're really proud of you. Congrats for winning the Best Bench Award. It is the only thing you won this week. Congratulations. The Gritty Award, and boy, that Egyptian spirit that has taken over Luke won the Gritty Award this week. Congrats, Luke. Don't let it get to your head. But I 2-0. We cannot take anything away. His team, I don't know. We'll see if it's a contender or a pretender.
Why did he win the Gritty?
He was the top scorer.
Oh, got it.
It's top overall score.
Got it. Okay.
Waiver winner. I don't have that in front of me.
I mean, I always want to give this one to me because I'm the one most active on the waivers, but
I'm going to give it to myself for Pittsburgh scoring 14 points. No.
It wasn't me because I picked up Tank Bigsby, the backup Jacksonville running back who scored 2.5 points.
Which is 2.6 more than ETN.
Yeah, I might start him this week, to be honest.
You might have to.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Also, I got so lucky because Rashid Shaheed would have
oh,
had like 1.5 points if not for a returned punt.
I once again, like I said, your game was
My luck must have been high.
well, your luck is only based on total score.
Okay, but I mean,
Your luck did go up this week. You scored less than you were, I think, the fifth highest score. Actually, I lied. Bucky Irving for Cheese Whiz, waiver pickup. Way to go, Cheese Whiz. Waiver
did he
winner.
pick him up this last week?
Just picked him up, I believe.
The whiz on the wire.
The Whiz on the wire. Um, Russell Wilson Award. Sam,
Mhm.
I had you down for this until you eked out that win with all of the talk about how you were underrated, that you should be actually the favorite against Boompa, and it came down to an interception with a minute 20 left. You were this close to winning Russell Wilson Award of the week.
So why
Um,
does Boopa get it?
he does.
Oh, thank goodness.
He does, for all of the talk about how great he was doing and all of the talk about everyone scoring these points for him, and he still lost.
Is Russ
Sorry,
going to be benched this week?
Russ.
Yeah, he's going to be back, but is he going to be benched?
Rumor has it he's starting, so you might need a new quarterback.
Oh man, Justin Fields has been a great addition to my team. I'm not picking up anyone else.
Sorry. Uh,
Goodness knows I'm not going back. Well, I could pick up Joe Flacco. He's starting this week.
no, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He was announced that he's starting this week.
When?
Today.
Joe?
Joe's playing this week.
Is he starting? Is Richardson healthy?
I don't know.
Okay. Um, I do want to share my updated luck standings. We cannot do the positional power ranks because I do need waivers to go through, and we can't talk about waivers because we're recording this on Tuesday.
Mhm.
But we can talk about luck standings and also the positional power rankings. Luck standings, we've had some movement, as I kind of alluded to earlier. Um, here we go. As I kind of alluded to earlier, we do have some movement. We have
Oh.
4 players that are technically luck positive this season. David, who was plus lucky +2 at one point, has now come back down to earth and is just neutral luck. Um,
Or Ben.
Boompa, Ross, and Benton, all negative luck, luck negative.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. But like I said, just an interesting thing to keep track of. In the end, I hope that it all will even out and we can all be neutral at the end of the day. I don't know if that's going to be the thing.
You don't hope for that.
I hope that I'm the most lucky. Let's be honest. Um,
Oh.
here is the my analytic power rankings. Oh, did I screw this up? Hold on. All right. Analytic power rankings. Number 1, back at number 1, Ross, and back at number 2, Boompa. They have been consistent 1 and 2, neck and neck all year with these analytic power rankings. Once again, just to remind everyone, this is based on if your team faced every other team in every week, how many wins you would have. So Ross, out of 42 games now, would win 33 of those 42 games he's played.
We
Boompa,
win 17. That is such a kick in the face.
you had some weeks where you would have won 0.
That's true. That's true.
The 0 week really puts you back, and the
Really.
7 week obviously really puts you up there. And so if you remember last week, there was actually quite a grouping right around that 16 mark. Sam, I think you were somewhere around like 14 or so, or
Mhm.
maybe somewhere around there. And that grouping is still there, where it's like Ross and Boomps are definitely
Mhm.
number 1, number 2 in terms of consistently putting up points. Then everyone else is kind of in the middle. You can see this +4 changed by Luke and -4 changed by Benton in terms of where they rank. Luke was the top scorer this week, and Benton was the one that scored the least. So Luke got 7 wins essentially this week, whereas Benton got 0. And that obviously vaults him up pretty high.
Yeah. Benton's this is kind of like the poop on Benton episode, isn't it? Poor guy.
We all feel bad for him.
It is
There's
sad.
literally nothing he can do except for probably pay for some better athletic trainers and insurance for his players.
The worst part is he can't drop any of these people who are getting hurt because there are vultures, you, who pick up injured players and wait till they're healthy.
I
Ask Boompa. Ask Boompa what happened with CMC and what you did with him.
I there was an IR spot in our first
That is something I would bring back, Kamish. Bring back the IR spot.
I agree with the amount of injuries some people are dealing with, and especially for keepers like Benton. But Rashi Rice is out for season, and Benton has to waste a roster spot holding him because prior to his injury, he was a keeper. He was the number one wide receiver.
Was he really?
I'm fairly certain he was. But I do think that we need to bring back the IR spot. Obviously, you guys all know where I'd stand on roster construction. I think we should be adding more active spots. I don't think we need to necessarily add to the bench, but I would add the IR spot back as well. We'll see what Mr. Pharaoh Ambrose brings back with him and see if he all of a sudden has come to light.
Mr. Pharaoh Ambrose will hear this and not care. He is a dictator. He listens to no one.
Hey guys, Wednesday Jacob jumping back in here. Just wanted to update you on the positional power rankings. Now that waivers have gone through, want to draw attention to the fact that the 8 seed continues its streak of winning, with Sam getting that victory last week. And then also the only top 4 positional power ranked team that got the win was Ross. So once again, it just goes to show these experts know nothing, or these ranks know nothing, or mean nothing. Moving forward, let's look at this week's ranks. Ross taking back that top spot at number 1, and David at number 8. So we'll see if he can continue the winning ways. Benton ranked number 3, although that doesn't seem to mean much. But maybe your luck will end this week, or your bad luck will end this week, Benton, and your whole team can finish a game healthy. So that's positional power rankings. And then I also wanted to go over our waiver activities this week. A couple interesting things. Benton dropping Dallas. Goddard said, I'm done with you and your injuries. Picking up Evan Ingram. We'll see what happens there. Luke is done with his 1 week of the Kyle Pitts experience. Going back to Jordan Addison. Boompa dropped Dak like he was the worst thing around, picking up his boy Brock Purdy again. He's a great bench guy to have, great energy around the team. Don't blame him for picking him up. A couple kickers getting moved. Interesting thing to watch. Boom's picked up Lad McConkey. Hasn't done much, but he's got some future potential. I switched out tight ends, Jake Ferguson for David Njoku. The hope is that maybe he's going to be targeted for every single pass Deshaun Watson throws now that Amari Cooper's out of town. And Sam switches quarterbacks with the thought that Justin Fields is probably not starting this week, and Sam is turning to Geno Smith instead. Enjoy the rest of the episode, guys. I've got some great guests that you still have yet to see. Peace out from Wednesday Jacob. All right, guys. Saranj is back. Here we have kind of a featured segment in our league, roughly around this time point each year, is Contender versus Pretender, or Contenda versus Pretenda. In the past, we've kind of been a little biased by our commish doing these write-ups, always claiming he was a contending team and maybe claiming some others were Pretendas when not so much. So I brought Saranj in as the unbiased,
the ninth team,
the opinion. So I'm just going to hand him my phone. It does not have it. He will not necessarily know whose team is whose. So hopefully his opinion can be as unbiased as possible. So Saranj, let's start with either of those teams.
Okay, so we'll start with Cheese Whiz.
Cheese Whiz.
Okay.
This is a legendary team in our league, so you know.
So this is like a historic team.
Well, they're all historic. They've all been since the inception. But Cheese Whiz is a name that will remain Cheese Whiz forever.
Okay. We'll start with quarterback, Lamar Jackson. top 5 fantasy quarterback. You can
I'd argue top 1.
top. We'll see between him and Jaden Daniels. We'll see who can run the ball
Okay.
more. But like guaranteed 20 points, like
Yeah.
easily.
I
if not more.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Najee Harris.
Yeah. After the quarterback, the cheese whiz goes downhill a little bit.
I'm someone who's drafted Najee a few times in a league. First year I got him rookie year, great. I had high hopes. After that, he has been such a letdown. He's got bricks for feet. If you look at Ezekiel Elliott's decline, Najee Harris hit that about a few years earlier.
Fun fact, though, he's like one of the only running backs that's run for 1,000 yards in the past like 4 years.
Exactly.
So he's consistent. He just doesn't. He's consistently average.
I think Bucky is better than Rachaad White running the ball, but in terms of like PPR, I don't think he's going to catch the ball as much. We'll see. He's always been like the second option, but if he catches the ball, I think he can be better than Rachaad White because Rachaad White's averaging like less than 3 yards a carry. That is not running back material, especially in an 8-man. Diggs. This is gonna be biased because I drafted Diggs with the hope he's gonna do good, and now that Nico Collins is out, I think his value is skyrocketed.
I think Diggs could do well for him this week. Yeah,
he's already averaging like 16 to 17 points a week right now.
Yeah, he's started to take off the last couple weeks for sure.
Yeah.
So
and then they run option. They did a couple running plays with him and end zone, got a rushing touchdown.
Yep.
PPR monster now without Nico.
I think he's in the most creative offense he's been in for his whole career.
Exactly.
So.
And CJ Stroud, that guy just throws absolute like on the money balls. He's gonna catch them.
Yep.
Zay Flowers hurts for me because I have high hopes for him, but I don't think Lamar Jackson can throw the ball well.
But if he throws him the ball, he's getting the double points.
Exactly.
So he's Cheese Whiz is just double dipping there. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No. Zay Flowers, I think he's a stud of a player. I just wish Lamar Jackson would throw him the ball more.
Yeah.
I feel like with Derrick Henry on the team, they just don't throw. They throw so much less.
Right. Yeah.
I think Zach Ertz is like. I don't like Zach Ertz as a tight end.
There's no good tight ends this year though.
Mm-mm.
To be fair,
you got Brock Bowers and Kittle right now who can give you like 20 a week, and maybe Robert Kraft. I don't know what's happening with him. In Green Bay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think tight end. I think tight end's like a wash.
Tight end's a wash. I don't think you can judge a team by its tight end.
Unless you got Kittle or Bowers, I don't think a tight end like the drop off.
It doesn't make or break the team. I feel. Yeah, I agree.
Jaden Reed. I love Reed. I think with Jordan Love out there throwing him the ball, week 1 we saw what he can do, and now that Love is back, he's just gonna keep doing good.
Cheese Whiz has had him on the team since the draft.
No way.
Yeah, he saw Jaden Reed. He is this Packer fan, so he probably had the inside scoop. But yeah, he's actually been riding that train for a while.
Yeah, their connection's great. Dontavion Wicks can't catch a ball.
No.
And then Christian Watson
can't stay on the field.
Yep.
Christian Watson's been a disappointment.
Yeah, Christian Watson's also a wash.
Yeah.
So Jaden Reed, I think top. And his matchups, he's big. He does good.
Yep.
Are we going defense and kicker also?
Nah, you can skip that. Just do
bench?
like an overall bench. Yeah.
Oh, overall bench. I think his bench is great. He's got Kyron and A-Chain. A-Chain could be better if Miami did better.
I believe both are on bye this week.
Yeah, both are on bye.
Normally, those are his two starters, which is pretty good.
Waddle on bye. Tua going down kind of hurt Waddle. Devonta Adams, if he gets traded to a decent team, great player. He goes back to being, I think, 18 points a game. It's just, he's always open. It's Devonta Adams.
Yeah.
And then TJ Hawkins come back, and then tight end shoots up.
Sneaky pickup he did 1 week, and I said that could be like a future, like kind of a sneaky play that really helps him in the future. So overall, Cheese Whiz contender, or pretender?
Contender. Definitely contender.
All right, you heard it here. Cheese Whiz, contender. What's your next team? Yeah, go ahead. Frame Train.
I don't know who this is first.
Who could this be? I don't know.
I said this. Jaden Daniels, he's got to live in my heart. Terry McLaurin, I've hoped the best for him for years. Now that Jaden Daniels is here, I think he's going to take off.
All right.
I have him actually top 3 quarterbacks fantasy-wise so far.
I think he could. I'm a little worried. Probably in about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to guess the NFL will catch up to what he's been doing.
Oh, yeah. You can't keep... the teams are so good, you can't keep an 82% completion rate. Or 70, whatever it is now after last week.
Yes, I do think there will be a drop-off. I still agree with you that Jaden Daniels is a top-tier fantasy quarterback, though. Yeah.
His running, elite.
Yeah.
James Cook, I think James Cook's great, except he has turf toe, which, if you remember, kept Michael Thomas out of the league for 4 years. And then he came back, got it again. It was a whole mess. So if it heals correctly, he's back to being good.
If not, he's not a keeper anymore.
He's not a keeper. If it says that he's out for the season or like he's just not coming back, then you got to drop him because turf toe is hard to come back from.
Okay.
Chase Brown. I don't know how to feel about Chase Brown. I think he's like Tyreek Hill when he was on the Chiefs. Like hot. He's like boom or bust. Like he's either going to give you 15 or he's going to give you like 5. That's what I think his position is.
Okay.
Oh, I love the McLaurin stack with Jaden Daniels. McLaurin might catch only 4 passes, but it'll be like 100 yards and a touchdown. Mooney, he's on the Falcons. If Kirk throws for 500 yards a game, I think he'll do good. But with Drake London and Kyle Pitts being there, and maybe they use Bijan more, I think he's solid. I think he'll get you like a double digits a week, and he might get you more.
Yeah, I think there's a chance. I think Mooney has brick hands. So.
Oh yeah, some of the drops he's had could have lost him the game.
I think during Kirk's 500-yard week, Mooney was targeted like 15 times and caught 9 of them.
Yeah.
Which some of it's probably off target, some of it is whatever, but like there were some bad drops.
Yeah. I think that's a fluke game because Kyle Pitts even had 15 fantasy points, and that's never going to happen.
We all know that Kyle Pitts will only disappoint.
Goddard, I like Goddard if AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are out. If one of them is out, I think Goddard's value is higher. If they're not in, I think he's touchdown dependent.
Okay.
But tight end's a wash.
Yes, tight end's a wash. I don't, like we said, think you can really judge much.
I love David Montgomery. I think the Lions can support 2 running backs. They've shown they can support 2 running backs. 1 yard line, he's your man. He's going to get the ball.
Yeah. Breaking news, he just signed a 2-year extension too.
Oh, really?
Stay with the All
right, there you go. They love him. He loves playing there.
Yep.
Ooh, this bench hurts me inside because Pacheco, Kupp, and Rice.
And he's got to keep him. Kupp's coming back. Pacheco is eventually coming back.
And Rashee Rice, I think,
he's
could
a keeper.
Literally be the best receiver in football next year if Patrick Mahomes keeps throwing to him like he did this year.
Yes. Yep. And so this team is a little limited on the bench because it has to just hold those injured guys.
Yeah. And he's got Jefferson. Stroud, I think, he may not be the best fantasy quarterback, but he won't disappoint you.
Yeah.
And then Braylon Allen. If Brees, I don't know what's going on with Brees Hall. If Braylon Allen takes a spot, you win.
Brees is having issues for sure.
If this bench was healthy, I give it an A. This is like a starting lineup on his bench.
Okay, so contender or pretender?
Right now, I think it's a pretender just because of the injuries.
Okay.
If those injuries are back, I think he's golden for the year.
All right. Let's do next team. What do you got?
I got Romness revived.
Romness revived. All right, let's hear this judgment.
Ooh, Fields. I like Fields fantasy-wise. He may not be the best quarterback in the league for like a starting QB. Yeah. Fantasy, he can get you 18 to 30 if he rushes that ball in.
You're right. It's 18 or 30 or also 6.
Yeah.
You just never know. I don't think he's consistent like Lamar is, but he could get you Lamar-like points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think he's a very matchup dependent QB. If he plays like a team, if you know like has a softer run, he's better than Najee Harris running the ball. So just take him
for sure.
I love Kenneth. I'm actually this last week was kind of surprising. I think he only did as good as he did this Thursday night because he had 8 catches. I don't know. Gino couldn't throw the ball down the field, and it was a lot of checkdowns. But I think Kenneth is very skilled.
Yeah.
But another thing is, if Kenneth goes down, Charbonnet guns for that spot immediately.
Yes. Yes.
Hubbard's fine. I think the Panthers are just a wash team, and he does good on a team that doesn't have anything going for it, really.
Okay.
I still think he's solid. I love DJ Moore, especially with Caleb Williams just
now throwing the ball accurately.
Yeah, and not throwing 50 times a game, but like 20 consistent passes.
Yes.
He's catching touchdowns, and DJ Moore's able to run good routes.
Yes.
He's a solid wide receiver. He's probably wide receiver 1 if he continues this.
Okay.
Wandale's good because he gets like 12 targets a game and he catches all of them.
Well, especially as Neighbors is out, he just continues to be like force fed.
And when Neighbors is in, it doesn't take away from Wandale. It takes away from Slayton. And Slayton goes down, but Wandale's still that guy that catches your 8 balls.
Yes, he is a very good PPR receiver, I feel.
I love Kittle. I think Kittle's great. Brock Purdy can throw the ball well, and Kittle is just so big he catches the ball constantly. He's always open. And Ayuk sucks. I hate Ayuk.
All right.
Shaheed's fine for a flex. Ooh, this bench. So he's got Rashad White. I don't think Rachaad White's a good starting fantasy running back. ETN is such a disappointment.
100% agree. There was such big words coming out of Jaguars camp, and ETN has, well, the whole offense in general has done nothing.
That Trevor Lawrence hasn't won a game in who knows how long it was.
It's been
Was
bad.
it Thanksgiving?
He hasn't won a game in the calendar year of 2024. So.
And also, I honestly, the best case scenario is if Etienne goes down, you start paying Bigsby because Bigsby looks like he's taking that job.
Does he have Bigsby on that team?
Yeah,
now?
he's got Bigsby on that team too. So you got to hope one of them gets injured, or you got to hope Etienne gets injured.
Essentially,
for fantasy wise.
Yes.
No hate to the player.
Yes.
Worthy and Tyreek Hill, both very quarterback dependent. Obviously, Worthy's got Mahomes, but he doesn't get the ball.
No,
not at all.
I mean, they were running out like 4 tight end sets over having Worthy out.
Why is Juju getting the ball in the middle field when I can literally see Worthy on the camera just wide open down deep? I don't know if Mahomes is scared to throw the ball right now, or
I don't know. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah. I give this bench. This bench is a solid like B. Just because it has potential, but there's just like certain things you gotta get through.
Okay. And overall, the team, Romness revived, contenda, pretenda.
I'd give it contenda.
Okay.
I give it contenda.
Okay. Romness, contenda.
I give it contenda. Now we have actually a team called Contendas.
Yes, this is the contendas, I believe, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
QB Prescott. Ooh. Okay, I think Prescott is the most consistent 15 points. He'll get you 15, and he might get you 20 if he throws a few more touchdowns.
I think Prescott is probably one of the highest floor quarterbacks.
Exactly.
But he is a pretty low ceiling.
Yeah. Oh, I love Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
He's back. He's looking like tight end. I see him stiff arm a guy, dribble a guy in the dirt a few times a week. Yeah, it's an A+. Might be he's the best running back, I think.
I believe he is RB1 right now.
Yeah. DeAndre Swift. Now that the Bears finally using him. I have Swift on my fantasy team too, so I'm a little bit biased. I held on to him with the hope that he could do good.
And he's now all of a sudden fantasy relevant. Those first couple of weeks were bad.
They were horrible, but now he's like running the ball. Also, to anyone that owns Rashawn Johnson, I hate all of you because he steals all of my guys' touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a little vulture.
Swift gets them to the 1-yard line twice that game, and he gets none of those touchdowns.
No,
whatever. I can't. I think Ayuk is like the worst paid receiver for his position. He had one good week, and after that, he doesn't even show up to practice. I see him show up to practice, and there's like, you see a news line like, Ayuk is down in the dumps, not wearing Pat. He's a whole mess. They should have shipped him to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I like CeeDee Lamb if Dak can get it together and throw him the ball a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb's got the potential. I think he's right up there with like Justin Jefferson fantasy-wise.
I think come a couple of weeks, he's going to be a pretty consistent 20-point guy.
Yeah. Cowboys, they're never going to be a bad team. They just got to figure out some things, and they'll be back to where they normally are.
Yes.
First-round exit.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Kincaid, high hopes, but wash.
Yep.
I don't know what's happening on the Bills. There's no star receiver on that team or catcher.
Yes.
Tony Pollard, I think he's fine. The tight end's got some things to figure out on offense, but he gets the ball.
He gets decent. He gets a solid chunk of points each week.
Oh yeah. Ooh, I like his bench.
This is a very good bench.
So he's got Nico on IR. He's got Joe Mixon. If you remember, Joe Mixon
looked great.
Got a rough injury, but he's coming back. He's coming back.
Yes.
It's not bad. Josh Allen. Oh, Josh Allen's top 5 fantasy.
Yes.
Nick Chubb, if he comes back and he's squatting his normal weight, like he looks
Nick
Chubb.
I was wrong. I have said that he may never play football again, and it looks like he might be back in the next 4 weeks. So
I bet on Nick Chubb that last year when he what happened to it? He went perpendicular. If you remember,
it was not normal for sure.
Khalil Shakir, he could be good if he just steps up.
And that was more of like, I believe Shakir is on this team for the wide receiver stack because most weeks he does start Josh Allen over Dak.
Yeah, exactly. But and then you start Shakir.
With Allen playing the Jets this week, I think it's a wise switch to put Allen on the bench.
I started Darnold last week against the Jets. Worst decision of my life. I thought he could do a revenge game.
Not good. So overall, are the contendas?
Definitely contender.
Okay. All right.
Actually, I'd say contender if his bench was healthy. Right now, with his lineup, not a pretender. But if Nico can come back and Mixon plays again, definitely a contender. Because then he can bench Ayuk. Get Ayuk out of the lineup.
So we're like pretenda with an asterisk, or are we content?
Asterisk.
Okay.
Asterisk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, we have trust and repeat.
Okay, trust and repeat.
Ooh, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow hurts my heart because, like, I know the last 2 weeks, he's legitimately, like, thrown the most yards and touchdowns and, like, interception. Like, his passer ratings through the roof. It's just that team's defense is so horrible.
So bad.
But if the defense is bad, it means he's going to slang that ball.
Right. It's great for him fantasy-wise, for sure.
Yeah, like, he can just keep doing the F at Jamar Chase's down the field somewhere.
Or just throw it the short to Jamar Chase, and all of a sudden he gets through 11 tackles and is in the end zone. Yeah.
Jacobs, I think Jacobs is very mid, just because of what he's been doing.
For sure.
I think the Packers should have kept Aaron Jones by the looks of it. Like, you don't pay Jacobs what you did.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason, I love Jordan Mason. He's stepped up huge. But what I'm seeing is any running back can be good on the 49ers, it's looking like.
To some extent, yes. I mean, you just run it behind that line, and it is unbelievable.
You go behind Trent Williams, like, he's
every
like 400 pounds, and you get you fall forward.
And Trent Williams is the scariest guy in the NFL.
Yeah. Devonta Smith, I think great pickup. He broke out this year, got a nasty concussion, but I think he's back, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to feed him. They got that Alabama. They got that connection.
Okay.
Amon-Ra, 10 out of 10. I love him. He's never going to be bad.
Yeah.
Ferguson, one of the better tight ends. He gets you 8 points a week.
I feel like he's like bottom of number 2 tier, maybe top of number 3 tier in tight ends. Again, most tight ends are pretty much a wash.
They're a wash.
Yeah.
Oh, Kamara. I love Kamara. Even with the quarterback out, he's gonna catch his 2-yard passes. He's gonna get 2 PPR.
Yeah.
He's a lock in for 20 points. If you're up 18 and the other team's got Kamara, you're gonna lose. I think he gets it.
Okay.
I love Kamara. Oh, this bench is phenomenal. He's got Neighbors, CMC, Brian Thomas Jr., Deontay Johnson, Brooks, and Dell. I give his bench an A.
Okay. So overall, trust and repeat. Contender?
Contender, definitely contender.
All right.
Even with his bench being injured, you can switch some guys out. Like, it's looking good. Neighbors comes back, you get 20 points a week again.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next we have
all boom, no bust.
All boom, no bust.
I'm looking at this team, and it starts off well, and then it takes a little bit of a dip throughout.
Yeah. It starts off, I believe, Jalen Hurts and Saquon. Those are you're looking at 2 big names that you're like. And Luke and I actually talked about this recently. We don't feel like there's a ton of players this year where you like look at them in the matchup and you're like, oh, I have to overcome them. But Saquon Barkley is one of them.
Yeah.
So and Jalen Hurts has the potential to just go off.
Yeah, he's hit a little rough stretch, but so is Mahomes. Like it happens. Quarterback slumps happen, but he's there. He's doing fine.
Yeah, and what's running back 2 here? It's
Eckler.
Okay, yeah.
He might have someone on the bench. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
I think Saquon is legitimately a lock for like 20 to 30 points a week.
Saquon is unbelievable.
So insane. Jamar Chase, I love him now.
Yep.
With Joe Burrow,
yes,
back to being good. AJ Brown, also amazing. You got the stack with him and Hurts.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 receiver core so far. Trey McBride, actually one of the better tight ends.
One of the better tight ends again, yes.
Like, not bad. Godwin, I don't know what happened to him. Godwin was a 10-point merchant last year in fantasy. I skipped over him in my draft. Instantly regret it. I don't even know who I got.
I have no idea what happened. Yeah. Godwin is looking pretty good this year.
Yeah. Ooh, his bench. Marvin Harrison. Kyler Murray. Throw him the ball. I know Call of Duty comes out soon.
Yeah, I know. You got to be a little worried about the whole Arizona offense in a moment.
Yeah. You got 2 weeks. I know he's going to live stream it. It's games. Aaron Jones. I like him. Brian Robinson Jr., that offense is so explosive. I think he gets you a touchdown or 2 a week. Just because they're going to get to the red zone. He might get some vultured, but I think at the end of the day, he's big, he's fast. He'll catch the ball a little bit, but he can run through anybody right now.
Okay.
Brock Bowers, 10 out of 10 tight end also right now. He's looking like he's the only guy on the Raiders that can catch the damn ball. So
yes.
J.K. Dobbins, I don't know, but he's been doing pretty good.
He was good, and then he was like, okay, and so I think he's more of a coin flip, but obviously a great bench.
Boomer bust, even though that's against the team's name, but he's boomer bust.
Yes. So overall, all boom no bust contender.
Oh, definitely contender.
Okay.
I give this a contender.
Okay.
If you get Eckler, once you get Eckler out that lineup, definitely contender.
Okay.
Ooh, rebrand revenge.
All right, let's hear it. So.
Ooh. Okay, this is not bad for an 8-man. I don't know. Okay, Jordan Love, I think great fantasy quarterback. James Conner's very hit or miss. He's
been pretty good.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it's gonna die down. I
He-
feel like he's
they're-
the guy I think is sell high. I
Okay.
think you sell him high right now.
Okay.
Again, once Call of Duty comes out, that people figure him out.
That Arizona offense is
it's done.
in trouble come November.
Oh, I love the Gibbster. I'm a Jahmyr Gibbs fan. I
Yeah?
draft him every year. I know he's gonna give me 17 points. He may give me 25.
He may have acquired Jahmyr Gibbs through a. I want to say he traded Travis Kelce for Jahmyr Gibbs before the season started as
that
essentially a keeper swap.
That is such a win. I think you drop Travis Kelce by the way he's going. He looks like he's sat on the bench right now. He doesn't even want to play the sport. I like Drake London, wide
Yeah.
receiver 1.
Yeah.
The other two guys very like dependent if Kirk does good, but you've seen if Kirk doesn't do good, Drake London still gets the ball.
Yes.
T. Higgins, I think if Burrow throws for 200 plus yards, he'll do good. If Burrow has a bad game, Jamar Chase will still do decent. I think T. Higgins will not.
Yes.
Kraft is looking like he's getting 20 a week right now.
I know, it's unbelievable.
You can't not start him until he does bad.
Right, great pickup.
Yeah. Amari Cooper, oh my god. I don't even get me started on the Browns. I think
Browns are the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, I take the Panthers. At least the Panthers quarterback didn't quit mid-game.
Yeah.
It's 4th and 1, and he doesn't want to go for it.
Yeah.
That's a whole...
Yep.
Sean Watson, you are poverty.
Jeez.
280 million.
Yep.
Should start Jameis. You got Laporta. He's been a little bit of disappointment.
Yes, did not continue from that rookie season.
Yeah, that rookie season was insane.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because Goff is just not... They've dispersed the ball a little bit more, but like his top-heavy dispersion still.
Well, so part of it is the rookie season was so dependent on touchdowns.
That's actually true.
That's the big thing. And in general, touchdowns aren't necessarily a stat that you can predict from season to season.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have this big spike, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to spike high again. So I think this was, some people saw it coming, others were hoping it wasn't coming. So
I totally get that. Like, I'm trying to think of like a... It's like Todd Gurley that one season. Todd Gurley, amazing season, and then just goes down. But that season, what people don't realize, he got a lot of yards, but he was touchdown dependent too. He got almost 1 to 2 touchdowns a game.
Yeah.
And I know a running back can get that, but it's still hard to sustain that.
Yes.
Because your body takes a beating on that goal line.
For sure.
Mahomes is bad. I don't think he's a good fantasy quarterback.
Okay.
Especially losing Rashee Rice, who was a big touchdown guy.
Yes. Yes.
Which he took out, by the way. We all know. Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor's great if he stays healthy.
Yep.
Colt's good. Puka. I have high hopes for Puka. I think he'll come back. I think he'll be fine. I think he's gonna be your PPR guy again. Like last year, he did good. He had 8.2 first week, and then he went down in the first half. If he gets you 16 to 20 a game, which I think he could.
So, fun fact about Rebrand Revenge, his original team name, after following either before the draft or after the draft, Puka was one of his keepers, and he actually named his team Puka Power.
Oh.
Luke and I both did make fun of him and said, there's no way we're expecting a rebrand by like week 4, and sure enough, Puka goes down week 1. And so the rebrand happened pretty early.
Yeah, that hurts. Jamal Williams, that's the Detroit guy, right? Like
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams,
Yes.
that's what it was. Jamal Williams is different.
Yeah.
Jameson Williams, he's good but he's touchdown dependent. He gets you he's gonna get 2 catches.
He's like Terry McLaurin in my mind.
2 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. I think that's his average stat line.
So overall, Rebrand Revenge, contender or pretender?
I think pretender. You got some weak points on this team.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think there's some weak points. If your players come back, it fills them, but right now it's not looking good for them to come back anytime soon.
Okay.
Okay, then we have the idiot. It's next.
The idiot, yes.
Ooh, the first 3 picks, the 2 running backs are going to be raw. Baker Mayfield, I think solid.
Yeah.
He won't be bad.
Yeah.
At all. I think he's like Dak.
I agree. He's
Very
got
similar.
a pretty high floor. I actually think he's got a higher ceiling than Dak in general, but I don't think Baker ever necessarily lets you down.
Baker's kind of sneaky running the ball.
He has been this year.
Yeah, and his targets. I know CeeDee Lamb is better than Mike Evans, but then you have Mike Evans and Godwin.
Yes.
And your running game is bad, so you're throwing the ball more.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, Breece Hall is RB1. Bijan Robinson is RB2.
So if you look at this before the season, you would be like, what in the world? How did he get both of these guys? Nope. And now you look and you're like, I feel so sorry that you have to start these guys every week.
I wouldn't trade DeAndre Swift for them right now. The way they're playing? No.
Both of them.
This hurts. Brees Hall is slowly getting his job taken. I don't know what's happening there. And Bijan, he's great. He's the most consistent 12 points. He'll get you 12 a game.
Yep.
But ESPN's got to stop projecting him at 18.
Yes, it is always a disappointment because you're like, oh, I'm projected to win, but you really do have to take 6 points off Bijan's projections each week.
And then you have to take 6 points off Bijan and maybe like 5 or 6 off Brees Hall too. His projection's 17.
At least 5 or 6 off Brees Hall.
Evans, I think Evans is great.
Evans is a great fantasy.
Until he plays Lattimore, I think
this week, I believe.
I wouldn't, honestly, historically speaking, I wouldn't start Evans against Lattimore. It's just something in his head.
Well, have you seen the stat? I think I saw some stat where it's like breaking down Mike Evans's last however many weeks against Lattimore, or however many games against Lattimore, and I think like he averages 3 catches a game for about 23 yards.
Yeah. He couldn't get out of Lattimore with Tom Brady even throwing him the ball well. So if Baker throws the ball well, it's not, who knows?
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, I think Garrett Wilson is a sell high candidate right now. I think this game was, I'm a Buckeyes fan. I would be biased, but I don't think Rodgers. I think Rodgers. Pitts, oh my gosh. I've drafted Pitts a few times in my life.
Pitts will always disappoint you. And when you finally are done getting disappointed and put him on your bench, you know what happens?
He drops 15.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what happened to me last week.
Yep.
And actually I ended up dropping him and he drops 15. In a 12-man, which hurts because...
That's huge.
That's huge drop.
Yeah.
But I had to drop him because I picked
He's
up...
horrible.
I forgot who I picked up, but I had to drop... I picked up Kraft for him.
Okay, so it didn't hurt you too much.
But I could have kept him on my bench. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a whole issue.
Yeah.
DK... Gosh, I wish TK was on a team where he had a quarterback that would use him more.
DK in general, like he starts off so hot every single game, and then they forget he exists.
Yeah. If you look at like star receiver, like his white, you look at Matthew Stafford with obviously Calvin Johnson's a huge comparison, but like you look at size and speed, you look at Julio Jones, like these guys got the ball to them because they were bigger and faster than everyone. I think he gets you a 70-yard touchdown a game if you can find him. That hurts. His bench, Olave, I feel bad for the guy. I know the guy's good, but that team...
Olave was a first-round pick in this league.
Yeah.
And he has not produced like that. Yeah.
I liked him, but even I knew not to pick him as high as he was projected. ESPN projections, by the way, you're off.
Horrible. Oh, we have a whole segment on our podcast about how bad essentially expert projections are, so...
Yeah. Debo, I like Debo. I think...
Yeah?
I think Debo's solid. He's definitely taken a step down from last year.
Yeah.
But with Purdy heating up again, maybe he gets back to what he was.
Yes.
Jerome Ford, he's fine. Start him until Nick Chubb comes back. But then, like, if you need to start him. But I would bench him for anyone who has got a higher ceiling. I start Tajay Spears over Ford just because Tajay Spears might catch a ball and run forward more. But that offense for the Browns is just not it.
Okay.
Kelsey, wash. I think he's an average tight end right now. Zach Moss. That also hurts. I think he's fine. I think Chase Brown's low-key going to take a spot.
Okay. So overall...
I think this is a pretender.
Idiot is a pretender.
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
a big pretender.
And I think we're back at the start, correct?
Yep, we're back at
the
Cheese
Whiz. All right, so overall we had Cheese Whiz as a contender, Frame Train pretender, Romnus contender, Trust and Repeat contender, All Boom No Bust.
I said that was a contender.
Yes. Oh, I believe you had contender as a pretender.
Oh,
because of injuries.
Yeah.
Because of injuries, yes.
Yeah.
All Boom No Bust was a contender. Rebrand Revenge was
I think I said
contender.
I think I also said this one. I think I said contender, yeah.
And then Idiot Pretender.
Yeah.
All right, and that's our contender versus pretender recap, mid-season kind of labeling recap for you. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Ron.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure having you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, I'm here with the podcast wives. They're here for a special little segment called Player or Pokemon. I've got a slideshow in front of them, and they're going to determine whether this word in front of them is a player or a Pokemon. All right, guys. First one, Barkley.
Well, that's got to be a player. Yeah.
Correct. Saquon Barkley.
Woo!
Now, I also want to add, I've picked only players that are currently on fantasy football teams. So there's a chance either Luke or I may have mentioned these players in passing. So we'll see if...
Yeah, but that's like a normal name.
Bigsby.
That's football. Player.
Correct. Burmy. These are all alphabetized too.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you for that. That's football.
Oh, I was feeling Pokemon.
That's Pokemon.
Oh no.
Pokemon!
Yeah!
Burrow.
That could be
that's
either.
Tim Burrow.
Tim Burrow?
So Burrow's a big quarterback. No, he is.
Okay.
Burrow's I'm serious.
So are we?
You know what? You would know.
I
this
know who
football
you're
player.
talking about, but I can't think of his name. I think this is a football player name, but Tim feels weird.
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah!
I knew it was some like little tiny name.
All right. Deden.
Oh.
Come on.
Had to put this one on there for
wanted
Lewis.
to be he was done for a while.
Dugong.
That's Pokemon.
You know that?
Fairbairn.
Player?
I've never heard that name mentioned in football ever. Pokemon.
If it was spelled like a bear, I feel like it would be a Pokemon.
So
So
What-
I'm
where are
saying
we committed?
player.
And I'm
I
saying
think she's
Pokemon.
playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
player. Kicker for the Texans.
Oh, yeah.
Gravel.
Grovile.
Isn't that a person from Sesame Street?
That's Grover.
Okay, I'm gonna say Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Correct. Plane.
Pokemon.
You know that one?
No.
Player.
Pokemon.
What is that?
That's a gear.
Pokemon. It's just a gear.
Clang, clang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malamar.
Well, I'm just thinking of the country. Is it Myanmar?
Myanmar. I'm thinking Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon. Metcalf.
Player.
This is actually one of Lewis's favorites. Go DK! Green shoes!
I hear Luke talk about that one a lot.
Noctowl.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Correct. I tried to give you some easy ones.
That was
Pacheco.
Player.
I think I've heard Luke say something about Pacheco.
Yeah, but he also talks about Pokemon, so
It is a player. Pancham.
Pokemon.
It's gotta be Pokemon.
Ah, Panda.
Shahid.
I'm gonna hope that's a name. It feels racist if it was a Pokemon.
So true. Yeah.
It is a player. Rashid Shaheed.
Shahid?
Rashid.
Yeah, but what mom would name the same name?
All right, and
Rhyme.
I've also got the podcast wives here for our celebrity pick'ems for the week. They are going to look at lineups. This is Tuesday, so we don't have any waivers. Possible lineups are not set yet, but I'm just going to hand them the matchups, and they're going to pick a winner. Here you guys go.
Your phone's really dark.
You can.
I will not be picking the Cheese Whiz.
Cheese Whiz won last week.
I always makes me think of Pete. Like Wiz. Okay, The Idiot versus Trust and Repeat.
Oh, we're picking for each, like, okay,
Like
got it.
game, kind of like, yeah. I don't think The Idiot. I don't like that
Who is
name.
the idiot? Who is that?
Is it Luke?
It's Luke.
What?
I think Trust and Repeat is Jacob, so I'm gonna say that. Hey, there's Burrow.
Yeah, Luke has been having a terrible season, so I can't go with him in good conscience.
All right, so
I support my husband.
we're picking Trust and Repeat for game 1. Game 2,
Frame Train and Rebrand.
Revenge. Rebrand
Oh.
Revenge.
And that is David.
That is David, yes.
Ooh. I'm kind of thinking Frame Train.
I'm gonna go Rebrand Revenge.
Oh.
Just because,
Why not?
why not?
You're gonna vote for Cheese Whiz?
Well, he had a great week last week.
Who's
Apparently.
Contendas?
That is Boomba.
That's oops.
Why is it spelled like that?
Because he's a contender.
I'm gonna go with Cheese Whiz because wasn't he hoping? What didn't he make a statement of like, wouldn't it be a Christmas miracle if I could beat the Booms?
No, all boom, no bust. That's
Oh, that was
Ross.
that
That's
was
when he played
Ross.
Ross.
all right. Well,
I'm going Boomba.
I'm gonna go Cheese Whiz.
All right. Last matchup: all boom, no bust versus Romnus Did he rebrand again? Romnus Revived, I think.
Who is that?
Who's
Sam?
Romnus?
Sam.
Sam?
That's Sam.
Is there like Steve Romnus?
Yeah,
person?
but wait, no, not that.
Double down on love.
I'm gonna pick all boom, no something. It's dot dot
No
dot.
bust.
because I don't like the picture of the other one.
Yeah, who is that supposed to be?
It's some ESPN personality.
I thought it was supposed to be Steve Romness.
I'm going all boom as well. I
Okay.
don't think Steve Romness is that bold.
Steve Romness does not have an ESPN fantasy icon.
God!
All right, you guys heard it here. Again, special thank you to the podcast wives for joining me this week. Yeah. Let's preview week 7.
Yeah.
So we have all. Oh, I have not updated this on my agenda. So week 7. So we have the idiot, Mr. Hot Shot, facing off against Trust and Repeat. The wheels falling off. What do you think, Sam, as the unbiased person here? How you feeling?
It's tough because I would say that you have more of a consistent 120, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's probably
a fair assessment. It's
plus or minus 5 points.
I feel like my guys just don't score touchdowns, to be honest.
It's a sticky stat. It's not a sticky stat.
I know.
But the idiot has momentum.
You
might think, hey, they're all on separate teams. There's no such thing as momentum in fantasy football. There is. And let me tell you why. It's because when a guy scores a touchdown, they feel good about themselves. And then the next game, they're going to score another touchdown. That's how it works.
Okay. So
right now, I hate to say it, but I am going to go with the idiot because of that phenomenon I just described.
It makes sense to me. Next game, we have Frame Train versus Rebrand Revenge. What are your thoughts there?
I think it's...
So,
I don't know.
As of Tuesday night, without any waiver claims, any substitutions made, for all I know, Frame Train is actually
he's at capacity
favorite. He is projected 128.5. David is projected 120.1.
Does Frame Train have a new tight end?
Yeah, he's Goddard's questionable, so they still have him projected 10.3.
Okay.
But
who are his running backs?
Montgomery and Chase Brown.
You know what? It's going to be one that I'm going to enjoy.
And some help might be coming to the train. Cooper Kupp may be back this week. Is the train turning around?
Unlikely.
Okay. All right. Game 3 this week. We have the Elder Statesman matchup. Contendas versus the Wiz. Dude,
I don't know. Sneaky good team versus traditionally good team.
If Zay Flowers stays involved in Baltimore, the Wiz is going to be a tough out.
Wiz is going to be a tough out. The thing is I've had Zay Flowers before, and he can have these huge games, but he's not reliable. He's just not.
But also the Wiz grabbing Jaden Reed, who I think we all thought was kind of a homer pick, turns out to be a really good pick.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is he was picked with no intention of him being good. Like it was not strategic.
I don't doubt the Wiz.
I don't think the Wiz is on his fantasy football subreddits scouring to see who the next big guy's going to be.
No, but do you know what he is on? The Packers fandom, and that's where he probably found him.
Is he actually?
I don't know. I mean,
he's a probably
Packers fan.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Packers fandom subreddit.
Probably.
Check out me and my new cheese head. Rate my cheese.
All right. Last match of the week, we have All Boom No Bust versus Romness Revived. And Sam, you obviously have a couple. You have DJ Moore currently
Yeah, I've
starting.
been starting right now. He's on a
So
bye.
technically, you're an underdog as of right now. Obviously, waivers have to go through, lineups have to be changed, and also Justin Field is currently starting for you.
Yeah, yeah, I've got a lot. I mean, obviously, I've got a lot of changes to make. Um, unless the Eagles have a crappy week, it's just,
It's hard to overcome.
yeah. I mean,
And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Do you know who the Eagles are facing this week?
um, my guess is that they're judging by your reaction. It's probably like the Panthers or
No,
the
no.
Giants
It's the
or-
Giants, yeah.
yeah.
So there's a good chance that Saquon goes off.
You know what? You say that, but then the Giants defense actually had a great game against Seattle, who's not a bad team.
You're right. We'll see. We'll see.
So
Yeah.
you never know. I don't trust. I'm a little bit annoyed because I don't trust Spencer Rattler, so I can't really use Rashid um, in my flex. Not that he was a great pick to use last week, but maybe I'll bring out Tank.
If ETN's out, Tank could be good.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So who knows? I think I would need to have a boom to beat all boom, no bust.
I mean, unless if you believe what Luke said, where he's starting to fall off, which he had 2 weeks of that and then faced me and popped off. So we'll see.
Now, I think it would take both a boom from me and a bust for me to edge him out.
So the people have seen this, but actually uh I interviewed Saranj and had the outside opinion rank all
Yeah.
of our teams as contendas or pretendas, and he did rank all boom no bust as a pretenda, I believe.
Really?
He said that he did not like the depth, and there was a couple things he had issues with there.
Oh, well, Saranj is the guy. He's the
He
guy
is,
I go to.
as I said, he's the unofficial ninth team. He is the opinion.
Just
So
out of curiosity, am I pretender?
I want to say you were a contender.
Yes.
I
Were the pretenders pretender, or were the contenders pretenders of contenders?
He's ranked contender as pretender.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it. Oops. If you're watching this, Boompa, I know you're watching this.
He did
You
have
are
an
a fraud.
asterisk. He did have an asterisk by it. He said it was largely due to some injuries on Boompa. He said if there was no injuries, he'd probably be a contender.
Well,
We'll see.
still pretender.
Yeah. So that's what I have for this week's podcast. Any last words, Sam? Anything you want to say to the crowd, to all the fans? Do you want to shout out your socials,
Well, I really want to say a couple things. First of all, I was written off very early in the season, and I'm making my comeback, and I'm stopping for no one to get my vengeance. And that includes you, Jacob. You wrote me off. You wrote me off early.
Okay.
And then Boompa, I'm coming for you. All right, that's all I got.
All right. We'll see what this week brings you. Hopefully another win for yourself. Hopefully I can end this
Best of
losing
luck.
streak.
Best of luck to trust and repeat.
Yeah. And you know who the best of luck is actually? To the Wiz. Number one Wiz fan right here. At least
He's a contender. I'm not gonna root for a contender.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Peace out, J Club.